Hi everyone, and welcome to Open Forensics Lab. In this video, we're talking about principles of speech delivery for platform and limited preparation events. Delivery is not about performing confidence in one perfect way. It is about making intentional choices that help the audience understand your message. Strong delivery supports the content of the speech. It helps the audience follow your ideas, recognize what matters, and stay engaged from beginning to end. In this video, we'll focus on three major areas: nonverbal communication, use of space through the speaker's triangle, and vocal delivery through prosody. Let's start with nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication includes gestures, posture, facial expression, eye contact or audience focus, movement, and body orientation. In a speech, these choices do several things. First, nonverbal communication can complement your words. That means your body supports the meaning of what you are saying. For example, if you are describing a major increase, your hand might rise as you explain the growth. The movement reinforces the message. Second, nonverbal communication can contradict your words. If you say, "This issue is urgent," but your voice is flat, "This issue is urgent," your posture is collapsed, and your body seems disengaged, the audience may believe the nonverbal message more than the verbal one. Your delivery should match the stakes of your content, unless you are using contradiction for a specific purpose like sarcasm. Third, nonverbal communication can accent part of the message. A gesture, pause, facial expression, or shift in posture can emphasize a key word or idea. For example, if your thesis is the most important sentence in the introduction, you might pause before it, stand still, and deliver it with clear emphasis. Fourth, nonverbal communication can repeat the verbal message. If you say, "There are 3 reasons," while holding up 3 fingers, the gesture repeats and reinforces the structure. Fifth, nonverbal communication can regulate the flow of the speech. In conversation, people use eye contact, posture, and movement to manage turn-taking. In a speech, you can use these same tools to guide the audience. For example, a pause can signal that an important point has ended. A shift in posture can signal a transition. Looking toward a different section of the audience can re-engage listeners. Finally, nonverbal communication can substitute for words. Sometimes a gesture communicates meaning on its own, like a shrug, a nod, or a raised hand. In competitive speaking, you usually do not want gestures to replace major ideas, but you can use them to reinforce meaning efficiently. The main point is this: your body is always communicating, and the goal is to make those messages intentional. One common approach to movement in platform and limited preparation events is the speaker's triangle. The speaker's triangle uses 3 main positions in the performance space. A speaker may begin in the center for the introduction, move to one side for the first major point, move to another position for the second point, again for the third point, and return to where they started for the conclusion. The exact pattern can vary, but the principle is the same. Movement should be purposeful. The speaker's triangle helps in 3 ways. First, it allows you to use the speaking space fully without pacing randomly. Second, it visually represents the movement of ideas. When you move to a new position at a major transition, the audience can see that the speech is moving into a new section. Third, it allows you to use proximity to engage different sections of the audience. Instead of speaking only to the center of the room, you can intentionally include listeners on the left, right, and center. A good rule is to move during transitions, then plant yourself during each major section of content. Movement should help organize the speech, not distract from it. Now, let's talk about vocal delivery, also called prosody. Prosody refers to the expressive elements of voice, rate, volume, pitch, tone, emphasis, pauses, and rhythm. First, consider rate, or how quickly you speak. If you are exploring complex evidence, maybe slow down. If you're building excitement, you might speed up slightly. The key is variety. Second, consider volume. Your voice needs to be loud enough for the room, but volume is also expressive. A louder voice can communicate urgency or importance. A quieter voice can create intimacy or seriousness, as long as the audience can still hear you. Third, consider pitch. Pitch refers to how high or low your voice sounds. Speakers often vary pitch naturally when they are engaged. If your pitch never changes, the speech may sound memorized or disconnected. Additionally, think about how you can use pitch to convey meaning. Your pitch might rise in the middle of a sentence to convey there's more to come, but it might fall at the end of a sentence to give a sense of finality to the idea. You can use pitch variation to signal any variety of meaning. Fourth, consider tone. Tone is the attitude or emotional quality of your voice. A speech about a serious injustice should not sound the same as a speech explaining a quirky scientific discovery. Your tone should match the content. Fifth, consider emphasis. Emphasis tells the audience which words matter most. For example, the sentence, "This problem is preventable," changes depending on whether you emphasize this, problem, or preventable. Choose the words that carry the meaning. Sixth, consider pauses. Pauses are one of the most powerful delivery tools. A pause before a thesis can prepare the audience to listen. A pause after a statistic can give the audience time to absorb it. A pause before a transition can signal that the speech is moving somewhere new. Finally, consider rhythm. Rhythm is the overall flow of your speaking. Strong speakers vary sentence length, pacing, and emphasis, so the speech feels alive rather than mechanical. For limited preparation events, delivery may be less polished than a memorized platform speech, and that's okay. In extemp or impromptu, the goal is not perfection. The goal is clarity, control, and connection. You can still use purposeful gestures, vocal emphasis, and pauses to help the audience follow your ideas. So strong delivery is not about always doing more. It's about making choices that serve the message. So use your body, your space, and your voice. Thanks for watching Open Forensics Lab.